Hey guys, what's up? My name is Dom. Welcome back to my channel. If you're new to my channel, I typically make bookish content, movie content, and anything else in between because I like to do whatever I want on this channel, and tonight's going to be bookish content. Tonight we are going to go through the only two books, that I read in January. So I said that I only finished 2 books, but I guess I technically finished 3, just because the first book I finished is 2 books in one. That would be Death Note Volume 1, the Black Edition, and the story is by Sugumi Oba, and the art is by Takashi Obata. So the reason I'm saying this is technically 2 books is because the Black Editions of Death Note have 2 volumes in one. So Death Note itself is 12 volumes, but I have the Black Editions, meaning I have 6 volumes. So this specific one contains volumes 1 and 2. Death Note takes place in a world where Shinigami exist. Shinigami are the gods of death. They decide who is going to die, when, and how. They have these things called death notes, and one day a Shinigami who is bored purposely drops it into the world of the humans, and then Light Yagami, who is a bored teenager, comes across it, picks it up, and he discovers that when you write down a name, that person dies of a heart attack unless otherwise specified. Due to that discovery, he takes it upon himself to become a god, essentially, and his goal is to kill off criminals and create a perfect utopia. I've seen the anime for this twice, and yes, I've even seen that terrible Netflix live action starring one of the Naked Brother band kids, but the anime is amazing. It was actually the first anime I've ever seen. It was essentially my gateway into anime. Like, the main question is, what gives Light Yagami the right to play God? Because what exactly is the definition of a good person? What makes someone bad? And I think what initially drew me into Death Note is that we're essentially reading the story in the antagonist's point of view. Like, if this was any other story, Light Yagami would definitely be the side antagonist and the protagonist would be, you know, the good guy trying to stop him, blah blah blah. But no, like, our main character is the antagonist, and I love that. I obviously love a good hero story, but I'm also kind of here for like a villain origin story, and those types of stories are like really enthralling to me. Light Yagami is an enthralling villain. Like, just because I don't agree with him and I think he's a terrible person doesn't mean his story is not a whirlwind to get through. It's a ride. It's really fun. It's a really fun ride. Upon reading this, there's a lot I didn't realize I forgot. Like, L, he's introduced a lot earlier than I thought. L and Light make contact a lot earlier than I thought. I forgot how smart everyone is. Like, these characters are constantly like one-upping each other. They're constantly on top of each other, always thinking ahead. And I'm not smart enough to be like those characters. I'm not even smart enough to write those types of characters. You know how smart this author has to be to even think of some of the things that Light does? Like, the steps he takes to protect the Death Note, the steps that L takes to bring Light in to manipulate him. How do you think of that stuff? And one of my favorite aspects of Death Note so far that I'm noticing in this manga is kind of the irony that I'm finding in it. Something I just found interesting is just like the littlest details that prove to me that Light himself is as capable of being a criminal as everyone else. Like, yeah, that's obvious because he too is murdering. Like, how is him murdering someone different than another murderer? It's also kind of just like the littlest things. Like, he thinks he's creating a utopia, but later in this book, he's trying to stop someone, and the first thing that pops up into his head is to rape them. He obviously ends up not doing it, but like, it's like you're killing those types of people, and yet that thought came across your own mind. Like, you yourself almost did that. So it's just the irony of it all, and how Light himself doesn't see that. I know that's the whole point. Like, Light doesn't see how bad of a person he is too. But it's just the way it's handled. I just think it's handled very, very well. And that's why I'm falling in love with the series all over again. In the end, I gave this 4.75 out of 5 stars because there is a plot point that I'm still upset by to this day. This author created such a great character. He got rid of her, and I'm still upset about it because I firmly believe if he let that character stay alive, Death Note would not be 12 volumes. It would be 2.5. Like, she would have solved the case right away. And I was actually reading somewhere that the author himself realized that. He realized he made a character too smart, so he had to kill her off right away in order to, you know, tell the rest of the story. And I'm still upset about it because I loved that character. And because I also noticed, yeah, I'm mad, but it's like the way it was written, like, it was going really well, and in order to get rid of her, she did something weird. She did something out of character. So the way they got rid of her was kind of like a cheap shot to me. Like, it wasn't particularly well written. So that's why I dropped this, you know, only half a star, or not even half a star, a quarter of a star, because in the end, 4.75 out of 5 stars. Then the last book I completed in January is Animal Farm by George Orwell. This is about a group of animals that are tired of being run by humans, so they run the humans out. Then they decide to take it upon themselves to live in this farm and run it how they want it to be run. But as time goes on, shit goes down and it goes for the worse. So I somehow missed this in school because I know a lot of people had to read it in school. I had to read 1984. That was the Orwell book my school chose. I'm reading along. It's reminding me of shit going down in the world today, and it's making me very, very uncomfortable. Like, this was not a fun read. It hits a little too close to home. So you know, I gave it 5 out of 5 stars because that means it did its job. Like, the whole point of this book, George Orwell wrote this book as a warning. And I saw the warning. It hit. A lot of things in today's world came to mind while reading it. So, 5 out of 5 for doing your job, George Orwell. But I also just liked his choice of storytelling. Like, there wasn't too much dialogue. There actually wasn't a lot of showing. He just told you straight out, which I know, like, some people don't like because the whole, like, show, don't tell. But I think telling more than showing actually did wonders for George Orwell. I think it helped get his point across better. I think using animals as characters rather than humans, in theory, would make this story easier for people to grasp. Like, George Orwell handled the lies and deceit really well because there was just one character they kept lying about, and it was shocking that the other animals believed Napoleon, which is also a great choice of name given the context. But at the same time, that was also showing how well Orwell was handling the manipulation, because we see this. We see our political leaders, and you know, I'm talking about like both sides of the spectrum. In the context of the United States of America, I think both the Republicans and Democrats are shitheads, and both parties have a lot of work to do. I don't believe either party gives a shit about us at all. Like, the way the manipulation's handled in this book, I see in real life with politicians, again, on both sides of the spectrum, and I just see people believe every word these politicians are saying, and I don't get it. Like, I don't praise politicians. I don't put them on a pedestal. Like, I was watching the animals in this book do with Napoleon. They were like, yeah, they were scared of him, but then you have a character like Boxer who was saying, oh, well, if Napoleon says it, it must be right. And I see that in real life. I'm kind of just flabbergasted. Like, this book kind of makes me angry with how much it made me think of real life. I don't know. So this book is haunting, I think, just because I can understand how Napoleon the Pig came to power. I can understand why people doubted their memories, and I could see why everyone was so easily manipulated. There's a reason I gave this book 5 out of 5 stars. So that's it for this video. It was short and sweet. I don't want to give a TBR because I don't know what February holds for me. I will just say, if I were to give a TBR, it would be to finish volume 2 of the Black edition of Death Note. But that's it for a TBR, and that's it for this video. So if you like this video, give it a big thumbs up, comment, subscribe, y'all know the drill. And without further ado, I'm gonna peace out, and I'll see you guys later. Ciao a tutti.